Hi guys, welcome to our Monday night team call. I'm sure people are still hopping on, so I want to get this to 2 pages, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speaker for tonight. I am super excited to share a little bit about this girl. If you don't know, our team call tonight is hosted by Alexa, and I was trying to think of what to say about her without just gushing and just being ridiculous, but I'm just going to gush because she's basically my She's a PS coach of mine. Can't even talk. But she's basically like my dream coach. So I told her when I met her in person, I was like, you are the girl that I'm always stalking on Instagram, hoping will join our team. And she actually did. So we're just so lucky to have her. She is literally my avatar down to where she lives, her age, her hobbies. She's just a dream coach. And she only joined back in January. She's currently an Emerald, but she's like a hair from Diamond. She's about to pop Diamond. I don't know if I'm allowed to share your big life news, so I'll let you say that if you want or not. But this girl has been crushing it. We only just met at Summit, and she's just even cooler in person than she is on social media. So if you don't follow her on Instagram, she's just like the most badass vegan, outdoorsy, hangs out with horses and makes all the best food, and is just the coolest person. So she's going to be sharing tonight some thoughts about she's just going to be lighting a fire under our ass, and it's going to be a very motivational call. I hope you guys have your notebooks out and don't have any other tabs open, and really give her your undivided attention because it's going to be fire. And yeah, I'm just so proud of you, Alexa. You worked so hard, and you're, like I said, just a literal dream coach. I feel like you've been on this team for years. I forget to tell you things, and I forget to train you on things, so thank you for bearing with me because I just assume that you've been a coach forever. And I just think of you as like a 15-star coach. So I'm like, you just know everything because you've been here for years, but you haven't even. So I am just so proud of you and love you to bits. So take it away.
Thank you. Oh my God, I didn't know I was going to get a glowing intro. That was fantastic. A nice ego boost before I just talk forever and ramble about stuff. So I'm
Anytime.
assuming you guys can hear me okay because you're not looking confused, right? Okay, cool. So can I share my screen? Is that a thing?
Yeah, you should be able to on the bottom. There's a green thing. There you go.
Okay, can you all see that?
Yes.
Slides, cool. So before I start, I want to make sure everyone knows what this call is about, so you stick around only if it's helpful for you, because obviously if none of this applies to you, then we don't want you to waste your time and listen to this. We'd rather have you work your business. So what I am talking about today is why coaches don't take action. So if you've ever felt really overwhelmed at what you think you should do, or feel like you don't know what to do next, or you're kind of just paralyzed because you know how much you could be doing next, then this is going to be for you. And so I have to say, first off, I don't have as high energy as Carolyn does of really getting people fired up. This might be a little more low key, and I'm going to start kind of heavy just to make sure we're all on the same page of how we feel about these things, because everybody goes through this, and then we're all gonna lift up together at the end and know what we're gonna do next. Okay. So these are the things that you might be saying to yourself when it comes to not taking action. And when I say not taking action, I mean the vitals, right? Not invited, not posting about what you're doing, not following up with people, maybe flaking on things that you said you were going to do, whether it's a group, a free challenge, anything like that. And that can mean different things for different people, but just whether it's 50 invites or just starting with 5 invites as a baby coach, taking some sort of action to move your business forward. And I've kind of bucketed the thought processes around reasons why we don't take action into these 3 kind of sections. And I think I honestly could have listed out 100 different thoughts that go through our minds that fit into these 3 buckets, but I'm going to focus on kind of the things that have gone through my mind and the things I've heard other coaches say, and I've heard my own coaches say. So I will go through those first. So this first one is, who's going to listen to what I have to say? So This one we can think of as imposter syndrome. I'm going to move this over so you guys can see, hopefully. You've heard it before. It's imposter syndrome. You feel like you can't help people if you're not where you want to be, whether that's with your business, with your own health journey, and whatever process it is. Next thought could be you feel like you don't look the part. Like, what is a health coach? And you might have a picture in your mind and you feel like you don't fit the bill. Like, you don't look like it. You don't sound like her. Like, you're just not the mold of a health coach. The other thought is that you see how many freaking Beachbody coaches there are out there, and you think, how am I going to have anything better to offer than what all of those other thousands of coaches have to offer? I mean, this isn't even within Beachbody. You might see other personal trainers on Instagram. You might see someone who's not even doing health coaching and just looking at their Instagram and being like, my stuff's not that pretty, it's not that motivating, and you're constantly looking at what other people are doing and comparing yourself and feeling like you're not good enough. And the last one that I hear a lot is you've gotten a few no's, and so that makes you feel like no one will ever say yes. It's like someone tells you no and you just feel like you want to die and there's no way to come up from there. And so this chart below is actual science on what, feeling like you aren't enough or like people aren't going to listen to you. This is the thought that people have. And it's just like, even though you got invited to be a coach and you were like, yeah, I'm going to do this. This is awesome. And you felt really confident about what your coach had to say. All of a sudden you're doing it and you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why am I here? Who said I could do this? Who's going to listen to me? So that's the first area. I'm just going to go through all these negatives, like I said, to level set us, and then I'll make it positive at the end, I promise. So the second one is, holy shit, there's a lot going on here. Maybe I need to take a step back. This is super overwhelming. And I actually thought of, I know Kelsey's here. I thought of Kelsey when this metaphor kind of came to me, but it's like you're walking through the woods, going on a little hike, and suddenly there's a mountain in front of you that you did not see coming. You're like getting all this information. You get thrown in a team page, get thrown in a team chat. You're just like, oh my God, what do I do? And you just get scared and do nothing. And so the kind of mindset around this is like, you're looking at the very top of that mountain, which is where you want to be, but you're at the very bottom. You're just starting. That's where you're at right now. And you just take on the whole weight of that entire journey to the top upon yourself all at one time. And that's kind of paralyzing, like I said at the beginning. The other thought is you want to have every piece of gear or training you could possibly need before you take your first steps. So these are the types that are like, I need to watch every single training that every Beachbody corporate person, every Beachbody successful Beachbody coach has put out before I can do anything, because I need to know all of it. And that keeps us from taking action. And another thought is you see this mountain in front of you and you suddenly just think it'd be way easier to just kind of stay in the background, stay in the shadows, maybe hide behind your coach and never get started. That is our second bucket. And lastly, it's just straight up, I'm scared. This is scary because maybe you didn't realize what you're getting into. Maybe you didn't realize this really is your own business and you didn't think about the responsibility that comes with that. But there are various different reasons. And some of this, or maybe all of this, will apply, but you are afraid of what people will think of you. You don't want to make that first post to tell everyone hey, I'm a health coach now, and you're worried about what your friends and family will think of you, or even strangers will think of you. You are afraid of rejection. It's not really something normal people expose themselves to every day. Same with failure. You're afraid of failure. I mean, everyone's afraid of failure. And then finally, and I know some of you are aware of this and some maybe you haven't really thought of it before, this is something I kind of realized about myself more recently, is you can be afraid of success. And that might be there's responsibility that comes with success. Maybe you think you'll be successful once and then everything will dry up and you'll never be successful again. And that can be scary. So that is something that can freak people out too. I just have to say, as I've said, Emmy introduced me, I'm 8 months into this. There are a bunch of coaches on here that are years into this. Some of you maybe are new this past week. This applies to everyone. And if you're still on here, you're basically agreeing that this has applied to you at some point or you've had these thoughts. So if you have these thoughts pop in your head, like, don't feel bad, but we're going to go through kind of like the mindset shift to get around these thoughts, because that's really all that it takes. I kind of thought about doing this where I went through these different thoughts that we have that keep us from taking action, and then going like super tactical and being like, watch this training, like listen to this coach talk about this topic, or like use this tracker. But all it really takes is a mindset shift and changing the words that are kind of going through your head when these thoughts pop up, and it totally changes how you feel about them. So this is, like I said, the things you say to yourself, and me telling you that they are not true, with love, of course. So let's cross out these negative thoughts that are paralyzing you and keeping you from taking action, and look at them for what they truly are and what they should be in your head. So rather than thinking like you can't help people if you're not where you want to be, like at the end of your journey, you need to know that the journey is worth more than the destination, and that real people are going to relate to a real story from a genuine human. So I had one of my girls say this to me yesterday, actually, and she's just starting. She was like, I know what your answer is going to be to this, but I just feel like I don't look like a health coach. Like, I don't feel like I'm doing my exercises well enough to be able to videotape them. I tried it. I look ridiculous. I don't want to post it. And so, of course, this is what I went back to and was like, Sarah, she's going to watch this later because it's like 2 a.m. for her. So I'm calling you out, Sarah. It's like, you are a real person. Like, you related to me. Like, I don't do my burpees every day the perfect way or anything like that. I don't have any certifications. I'm just sharing what I'm doing and how I do it, and people relate to that, or they don't. And if they don't, they can move along, and they're not for you. But you need to be a genuine person and not be perfect all the time, and just be you, and that's what people will relate to. So you don't have to be that like super ripped personal trainer for someone to want to spend time with you and learn from you, because you might just be a few steps ahead of them, but you have that much more experience than they did when they started. And so tying into that, the whole, you don't look the part, you look absolutely perfect for your part. You hold your own space. Like, that is your space to hold. We are all different on this team. And so you are exactly where you need to be, and you look exactly how you need to look. The other thought of, there's so many coaches on this team. I know this kind of freaked me out when I first started, because I had experience with Beachbody products and I knew they were awesome. So I signed right up and was like, yeah, cool. Like, I would love to share that with other people. I love fitness and being healthy, yada, yada. And then you kind of start to spot them everywhere. I don't know if it's like social media algorithms just start like throwing them at you, but you find that there are a lot of coaches out there. And so you think, what am I going to have to offer that is any different than these coaches have to offer? And the truth is, there is no other you in this network that can offer your unique mix of characteristics, like specialties, things you're into, and or enduring quirks. Because let's be honest, this team can be like weird as fuck sometimes. So just like know that that is what draws people to you. People want to see that realness, that weirdness, and know like, oh, like that's Alexa, that's Carolyn, that's Emmy, like, and that's your brand. And no one has that mix of things that make you you, and that is what you have to offer. And finally, that feeling of, you know, maybe you've had a few people say no, maybe you've reached out to like 2 people and they said no, even if they were your best friends, which totally happened to me when I first started. The truth is that there is no end to how many yeses you will get. And you might still not believe me because you're like, well, people said no to me, like it sucks, I'm not doing that again. But when you do get a yes, it will be the right yes. And that's something to think about. Like, you might be hearing a bunch of no's, but that's just what is meant to be at the time. They might not have been the perfect fit for what you have to offer, or they might not have been ready. I mean, I know our call we had with Natalie, she kind of talked through that whole like bag of success points she got last month, and she was super successful. And she broke it down for us and showed that most of those people had said no or hadn't answered or pushed her off until the right moment. So just know that a no is not forever. It's no for now, which I know you hear all the time, but it's true. And the yeses, when they come, will be the right yeses. All right, next group. So talking about this mountain that snuck up on us, right? All the things that we are supposed to do, all the trainings, all the actions. This is really just that you're looking at the mountain from the wrong angle. So it's not that you need to be looking at the top the whole time and go, holy crap, I have so far to go. It's you need to look at your next step and just take it. It's one step at a time and know that that first step leads to the next step and the next, and that leads you to the most beautiful view you've ever seen on the top of that mountain, which is where you want to be. And those are the goals that you've set for yourself. And that's, I mean, those mountains keep coming too. Like you heard Carolyn posted her big, like hairy, scary goal on her team page today. Like those goals don't go away. Things aren't going to dry up. There's always a next goal that you're going to need to take, but all of them start with one step. So you need to look at that next step and know that it's bite-sized and that you can handle it, and then you can take the next one from there. And for those of you who love to look at trainings, I know I love watching videos and I listen to them at work all the time from other Beachbody coaches and hearing how successful they were doing all these different things. I'm like, oh yeah, I just need to soak it all in and learn it before I can do anything. But the truth is that doesn't teach you anything. You know that the best training is by actually doing it, falling flat on your face and doing it better the next time. I mean, all of us, I'm pretty sure, know how to walk at this point. Like when you were a child, you had to take your first step, probably fall flat on your face many times, and you don't remember that, but now it's no big deal. And now all of us can do burpees at the drop of a hat, right? So that is like you being a baby coach, learning how to walk, and soon enough, you're going to be killing it and telling everyone how to take that first step. And then finally, the ones that think that, you know, it'd be much easier to just kind of hang in the background, hang in the shadows. I know this team is getting bigger, so it's very easy to do that and just kind of lurk in the team page and see what everyone's up to and kind of feel inspired and then just say that you'll like count yourself in next time. The truth of that one is that, you know, stepping out into the open, like that does expose you. You bring attention to yourself. So that also allows you to become stronger, more resilient, and that's what makes you a better leader. And that is how you're going to reach the goals that you set. All right, and now let's address this whole scary thing. So I don't know if any of you have heard this before, but like from a psychological standpoint, the feeling of being scared is very similar to the feeling of being excited. So all we really need to do on this one is like switch what you are telling yourself, like, oh, this is scary, I'm really scared, to you're super excited about some of these things, and just know why that is. So what you need to say is you're excited about some, if not all of these things, which is not that what people will think of you is the scariest thing ever, but what you're excited about is what people will learn from you. So I know everyone like gets self-conscious about what their friends or family are going to think, like, oh, I'm not a health coach. Maybe you've been sitting on the couch for the past 25 years and suddenly you decided to take this journey and take this leap. But, you know, the people that are meant to learn from you will learn from you and they'll come along with you. And that's what really matters, because that's the positive impact you're making on your own little bubble of the world. And then speaking to rejection, it's that you're not afraid of rejection, but you're excited that the rejection you get will lead to success later. That's the thing we talked about. The no's you get are not always no forever. And if they are no forever, then that person wasn't meant for you. You're also excited because failure leads to learning. That's the same as the taking the first step. You just need to do something that teaches you what works or not. You just need to keep trying and trying new things. And I think the great thing about this team is people are really willing to work together. So even if you're failing, you don't have to do it alone, which is way scarier than failing with some other coaches on your team. And then the last one, which I think speaks to me too, is, you know, you're excited that the success you get just leads to more success. So it's not like Beachbody is going to be like, oh, you know what, you're helping too many people, or you're making too much money, no more of this. Like, there is always going to be more people to be helped, more money to be had, more goals to be hit. Like, that is never going to dry up. It's just a wall in your own brain keeping you from finding the next level of success that's yours. So with all of that, let's take some action, right? I know I saw like a lot of chat things happening. Is there an actual question, or were you guys just being supportive? Because I read none of it.
I think we were just being supportive.
Yay, cool, thanks. Yeah, I mean, that's all I really had. It was like a quick kick in the pants kind of thing. So if you guys have any questions or any thoughts on that too, I mean, that'd be great. Getting feedback on what you think or what you found from kind of those areas of thought is always good to hear.
I thought it was really good, and I think it's like a really good call for even like newer coaches, like Allison, who's like kind of talking in the chat. This is like, she enrolled as a coach like a few weeks ago, but today is like when she decided she wanted to coach. And I think like someone who doesn't really even know what they're getting into yet, seeing this stuff is like really cool. Because even like now I'm a year in, and like I find myself like struggling with some of these things still too. So it's like, even in the chat, everyone was saying like we're all real and we're all human, and it happens to all of us. So like you can go from 1 month to feeling like, oh my God, everything's going amazing, to like the next month to like back to the fears and like having those things to get over. So it's cool to kind of see more people talk about it and see how everyone relates. So I think it's like a really beneficial call for newer coaches too, because once they get started, it's going to really like hit home, like when they start to get those feelings.
Yes, very true. This is not like just a new coach call at all. Like this, I think, speaks to everyone, at least from some level. Yay for Allison for deciding to coach.
Yeah, it's exciting.
No, that was amazing. I would love if you could share the slides, because like the comparison of like the two different ways to like say something or think something, I think is just even in itself, that's like awesome. And I think that having that on hand would be something that would be super easy to like share with your coaches who are maybe feeling those kind of things. Like, no, you may be feeling this way, but how about we try to rephrase it in another way? So I think that if you could share those, that'd be awesome. But it was a great call. Thank you so much.
For sure. Thanks for listening, guys.
I just wanted to say too, that was amazing, and you're so smart, and that was just so well said, and that's perfect for if you are a newer coach. I'm sure you said one of those things to yourself, and if you're not a newer coach but you yourself have new coaches you're signing up, I mean, that applies to everybody wherever you are in your business, because I know I've signed probably 5 or 6 coaches in the last month, and I've heard every single one of those things from one of them. I'm not going to call anybody out, but you guys know if you've said it to me. So we've all heard that. And I think when you're somebody who's been around the block for a minute, like I have a hard time sympathizing with that stuff anymore, because it's been 3 years for me since I said a lot of those things, although not even, I still feel those things sometimes too. But that was a very helpful thing that I think I would like to work that into my new coach training and my getting started right training and all that, because it really breaks down why you're saying those things and those fears that everybody has. And I have a hard time, like I said, sympathizing. I'm just like, get over it and do your shit. But that was a lot more eloquent and helpful. So thank you so much. That's definitely going to like live in our training somewhere. I think that really needs to be something people hear from the get-go.
Yeah, I agree. I think it could really make or break someone, like having that going into coaching versus not having that, and like hearing those things and not knowing how to handle them. I think that it's really going to be, I mean, we all feel those things, but if you have like a way to handle it and you know what to do, then it's not going to like derail you from having the success that you can. Because I feel like we have a lot of coaches who sign up and then they feel these things and they don't know how to handle them, and then they end up giving up on themselves. So I think that this is really going to be helpful, especially in those types of situations where, you're feeling these things and you don't know what to do. You can just have this like in your back pocket, and it's something that's going to remind you of like what to do in these types of situations, and being conscious of when you're feeling these things too, so you know how to like not get into that type of situation again. So thank you so much. That was awesome. I know we said that a million times already.
I know, reading these comments, I'm like, oh my God, I feel so much better. Thanks, guys.
So good.
It was very helpful.
Good.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments or anything they want to add to any of this? No? Okay. I think everybody's just inspired and fired up. I know I'm about to go just invite like 30 more mini Alexas on Instagram now.
Yeah, I gotta go find some people too.
All right. Well,
All right.
thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here. And yeah, if you could share those slides, that'd be awesome.
Oh yes, yeah, I will go do that right now.
Perfect.
Wait, don't go. I'll stop
Oh
your
yeah,